What's up, everybody? Welcome to Silent Podcast, the place where everything but silent. I'm your host, Isaiah, back with bounce checks for Big Brother Canada 11 coverage. This is going to be a fun one because we have a very special guest in the building. Summer, what's going on?
Hey, nothing much. Thanks for having me back. I appreciate y'all.
Awesome. And then, like usual, we got Katie. Katie, what's going on?
Hey, everybody. Excited to be here. Summer, thank you for being here with us. I'm excited. We had a good week to talk about, I think, so I'm excited.
And we have Josie.
Not that, just the Josie. Damn. Honestly,
No intro needed.
And we got
I'm excited
the Canadian
to talk.
podcaster, Josie.
I know that's
There
right.
we go.
Yeah,
The
keep
Canadian
credit where credit
podcaster.
is due. Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this week. You know what? Finally, some shit was moving, some shit was shaking.
Thank
I was getting
you.
a little bored.
Mhm.
So now I'm
Thank you.
excited, especially with the new HOH. It's giving melanin, it's giving
Yes.
excitement. So I'm here for it.
Yes.
All right. And yeah, this is it's been an interesting week. Obviously, this is week 3. It took a little bit for this game to wake up. I'm gonna be honest. It was getting kind of like snoozy a little bit. So Summer, we haven't gotten to speak to you this season. So what is your impressions on the cast? Everything watching as an alumni, no feeds. Like, how you feeling about it?
Okay, where do I begin? So I'll say as an alumni, there's mixed feelings. I'll say for one, like the theme song is giving Hunger Game vibes right now. Like every time I listen to it, I'm like, oh my God. So I'm trying to work through that. I am, suffering from a little bit of jealousy as well, like a HelloFresh refrigerator. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I was running out of ideas. A vacuum would have been nice. Circle K, snacks, those things would have been nice. So I'm a little bit jealous. The way that they get to play our pick players for the veto competition, I think the use of the chess pieces, very sick. What else? The cast, they're like an interesting bunch. There are of course some people that I just love. Should I name drop them?
Yeah.
I say you should.
Okay, so obviously Big Daddy K all
Yes, love
day. Daniel, that's not the DJ. Daniel, who's half Jamaican. It's Daniel C.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Sorry. I'm standing him, and yes, I don't even know the last name. My bad. I do like Vanessa. I do like Jonathan. I do like Nika. And some people may hate me for saying this, but low key, I do like Zach. He's funny.
You and Isaiah are in good company because Isaiah is out here standing Zach.
And he's bringing the entertainment. Like, that was my biggest thing about the digital dailies was that, like, it's not ratchet enough. Because, like, trust me, my season, straight from the gate, day one, we were ratchet. Like, y'all are lucky that we did not have. I mean, you probably would have wished that we would have had live feeds in the first week. You would have been like, oh my God, these folks are problematic. But yeah, so I don't know if that's like being filtered out or they just managed to find like very unproblematic for the most part Canadians. So like good on them for, seeing past some of the bullshit that other people on my season were giving to make it seem like they're woke and whatnot. We won't name any names, but you probably know the few I'm talking about. But yeah, overall, I'm enjoying it. And I'm just praying that like I just get up in that gig. Like, let me host one more comp. I just wanna serve my regal moment. I want to wear a silk robe. Like, just give me something. But yeah, if that doesn't happen, then it's all good. But long story short, I'm living. It's getting good. It's getting good. It's starting to give me the ratchetness that I need, and I hope that it carries forward to the end. How about y'all? How do y'all feel about what you're seeing?
I know last night Arissa was saying that this is like the craziest week in Big Brother or the craziest start to the game in Big Brother history or whatever she was saying. And I feel like Summer, your season at the beginning was way more off the rails than this season has been so far. But maybe it's just because we saw it on the feeds. But I think it is getting fun, though. It's ramping up. So I'm excited to see where the game goes because it feels like it's totally wide open now.
Yes. And usually it's like week 3 is when things tend to get really, really crazy anyway. So maybe something's gonna pop off. But I didn't know with Miss Koozie in place as HOH now, she might just like, settle things, because that's what queens do. So we'll see. She's not a Kyle Moore.
No.
So we'll see how things go down. I would love for her to do some crazy shit, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think that she's going to play it safe because she is very well insulated at this moment.
Yeah.
So there's no need to put a target on your back at this moment.
All right, how about you, Josie? How you feel about it?
Honestly, to your point, Katie, about the craziest like beginning of the game, I've not to call myself a Big Brother Canada historian or anything, but we've definitely.
But you are one.
Thanks.
I'll call you one.
Oh, thank you. I just feel like there has been like season 1, for example, when Suzette was HOH and Suzette put up 2 strong boys that caused chaos. We saw the same thing with Karen season 5 with the like if for people who've watched season 5, that first week was chaotic. People fighting, who said what, where, the whole house having a meeting mid getting ready for eviction. Like that to me was crazy. John Michael week 1, like as someone who drafted John Michael, I was really hurt.
Bro, tell me about it.
But like that's what I'm saying. So it's like, but also like I feel like there's like this emphasis about like this is the first time there's a backdoor week 1, but it's like I don't think a backdoor is that crazy of a move. Like John Michael kind of seemed isolated from the house. So like, I guess backdoor, not to take away from John Michael. Of course not. Like John Michael, I think was a very interesting presence, but I don't know if I would say this has been the craziest beginning of a Big Brother Canada season. I feel like that would be a lie. Ultimately, we have some personalities. I think doing Roberto's interview earlier today really changed my perspective on some things. Yeah, because we got insight that we didn't know, like Santina yelling at him, telling him not to throw her name in the campaign, and her crying. Like that's tea that we missed, and I'm so sad because those are the moments I like to see. Because now with Santina's vote as well, voting for him, like those are elements, layers to the game that like I think are super important moving forward. Yes. I really don't know what Koozie's going to do with this HOH. I feel like if we had feeds, I would know a little bit better. I'm hoping it's Zach, but then again, if you get rid of Zach, who's the next big target? You know? So,
and I agree with you on that one. Like, I feel like there's like a lot of information that we're missing. And as somebody who's like lived that experience, I don't like the feeling of like not knowing. I'll never like be able to get to that point again, but I don't think I've ever watched a season where it's like I really don't know what's happening right now. Like I'm very confused why people are making certain decisions. And again, it could just be because I'm not watching the digital dailies, but I do watch Rob has a podcast, and it kind of seems like the same thing. Like everybody, like we really don't know what's going on. So
yeah. I was on our hab yesterday with Taryn. And we both just kind of came with the realization that like they're leaving so much out. It's kind of hard to follow at this point, you know? So, I mean, as much as I will still try to watch the dailies, it's it's not giving us everything, obviously, if this week has shown us that. I did think it was interesting as well. They gave us uncut DR sessions. It seems like they're just, giving them a set of questions and, they answer them. Okay, I mean, to each their own. We'll see how that goes. But so I guess we can dive into this. So how do we feel about Dan's HOH? We saw Dan win HOH. His nominations was Renee and Hope. Obviously, Zach wins veto, takes Hope off, and then the replacement nominee is Rob, and then we see Rob leave. But how do we feel about DJ Dan's HOH?
So for me, it was a little boring, just in general. I found that he was like a bit of a passive HOH. Which, like, I can't speak on that. I've never been HOH. So I don't know how you're supposed to act, but I feel like you should be a lot more in control, and I feel like a lot more confident in your decisions, because it seemed like it was like even like Zach in the forefront, all the fights and whatnot. It's like, buddy, like, step in and like say that this is my decision, this is what I'm doing. So I would have liked that. And also, like, because he's from the same region that I live, he's in Niagara Falls, like, gotta represent for the people. We're crazy out here. So, like, give us the energy. As for the replacement I don't know. Like, I do think it was a good idea getting him out. Like, in general, just like I feel like for the other folks, but maybe not. So maybe like his decision. I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with this. Like, I'm still trying to like wrap my mind around everything. But yeah, I just feel like it just wasn't his HOH. And as somebody who liked to be like the underdog and the person who's kind of like just whispering in other people's ears, I do like that. But at the same time, it's like I want you to show out. You won this thing. You were on the block. Like, give us something. I'm bored.
Yeah,
it's interesting, right? Because like he had a perfect reason to nominate Santina because she put him on the block the week
Thank
before,
you.
and he didn't do that. He was a little bit savage in his conversation with Renee. It felt like, and because she's like, I was on the block last week and I'm not winning competitions. Like, how am I such a threat? And I agree, like that nomination didn't really make any sense. And what I hate to see the most is like Ty and Zach in the kitchen just talking about like, okay, this is who we're putting up this week. I'm like, it's not your HOH, even though I guess both of these HOHs were kind of more Zach's HOH than they were Santina and Dan's. Yeah. But even in his diary room last night, when we saw the replacement, he was like, I don't know if this was a good move. I'm like, then why are you doing it? Like, it just doesn't make sense. You know that Zach is pulling the strings. Why are you going through with it? It probably wasn't the best move for his game.
And that's what's frustrating for me. Like, about this whole experience is like when people make decisions for other people. It's the same for me going on the block. Like, how are you going to say Joshua? Sorry, see, y'all make me realize I'm still tripping and I'm not here. But it's like, Joshua, how are you gonna tell JC Lynn Summer's good for my game, but she's not good for Betty's? So, like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, what do you mean? This is your HOH. Why are you making a decision that's good for somebody else's game that does not make any sense? Are you playing your game? Or are you playing somebody else's game? Do you want to give the back to somebody else? Which he did. Like, you have people constantly need to remind themselves, like, you need to play your game. And even for myself, like, I've definitely made decisions that weren't for me. But it's like, after it's been 11 years of BB Can, like, eventually we're going to have to start recognizing that you need to play your own game and not let other people run you, because once you get to the jury, not to the jury, once you get to the end, or if you do make to the end, then that person's just going to shit on you and say like, hey, yeah, they made their points, but like I was the one who was really behind it. So what are you going to do at that point? You made it to the end and then now you've lost because you've been playing somebody else's game and getting played the whole time.
I honestly, like, to keep it a buck, Dan, to answer your question, I said, Dan, this season, like at this point in time, I feel as though Dan is not playing a good game, period.
Yeah.
Like, this is an individual game. It's like, when your parents tell you came into this world alone, like, it's the same concept in the house. Like, you came into the house alone. This is an individual game. I'm so tired of this team stuff. And I'll talk about it when I talk about Santina, because Santina's talking about we as a team. I'm like, baby girl, what are you talking about? This is not a team sport.
And my thing with Santina is like, how are you even comfortable being the only female in an all-male alliance? Like, something should tell you something that you're probably being used as like a female that's going to infiltrate other females and bring back information, like very much like what kind of like Helena was for like a lot of the females as well. So, and no diss to Helena, like I love you, girl, but like she was that girl who was working mostly with men, and would just go back and forth, just ruining girls' games. Like, for what reason? Don't you want a female to win? You are a female.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, Dan's gameplay overall this week has been horrible because, first of all, the way he has conversations and telling people they're going on the block, just because you put someone on the block does not mean they're going home. We literally see this with Renee staying this week.
Only one person leaves. Only one person
leaves. The way he spoke to her, I literally was like, oh, Renee's a better woman than me. Because I'm not letting nobody talk to me like that in the HOH. No. I don't care if you're HOH. That's so weird. She's like, dude, like, I literally wouldn't do. He didn't even allow her. And this is what I hate about some players. They don't think about how they can adapt to the game. They are just one-track mind. And Renee was bringing up valid points. It didn't benefit him at all to go after her. You have someone who literally put you on the block. Someone can't get mad at you for returning the favor. I thought that was so ridiculous to me. I was like, you have two free people now because Hope offers himself, which but I'll put a pin in that. Then you have someone who put you up the week before. Like, it's there for you. And then when we get a POV winner and it's Zach and Zach takes off Hope, it's like you literally know in your mind that this is not benefiting you. Like you know this in your spirit and your mind. So why are you doing? Like I just don't understand. And you're taking Zach must have the Riz or the sauce of some I don't know some Greek god. It's actually ridiculous. It's actually how are we letting this man make a fool out of you? It's ridiculous.
Isn't Zach a life coach though? Like maybe that's his profession is
I don't know what. I thought he was a senior vice president of some startup or something.
I was skipping through the
Maybe he's all of the above. I have no idea. We don't even know.
I just remember him calling himself the Kim Kardashian of Ottawa. And as
someone who studies
at the University of Ottawa currently,
I said... With what booty?
Okay.
Now, granted, with Dan, I will say, first of all, I was a little confused because we see him obviously put up Rob, and he has this confessional where he's like, I don't really want to do this. I don't know if I fully agree with him. I didn't like that. But it feels like, and some stop me if I'm wrong, that like he has some sort of allegiance to Zach still. He might be hesitant, but he's still working with them. And I think that like Zach's almost like swapping out Rob for Dan at this point. We kind of see a little bit that like Shania and Rob, they were talking. It seemed like Shania starting to mesh a little bit better with Dan instead of Rob now. Rob's out, but it's almost like Dan like took Rob out and then just put Dan right into that spot and like, hey, like problem solved. I don't know if that's gonna work. I don't know where his true allegiance or loyalties are, but only time will tell.
It sounded like Ty, at least in one of, I don't remember which episode it was, but was saying, like, okay, well, Dan has to go next week because he's now a threat. He won competition. So it's like they don't even really, there's no loyalty there. They're just using him to do their dirty work.
Yeah, but then Zach said that Hope needed to go the next week to Satina. Like, how legit was that? So it's like, I don't know, at this point, without the feeds, I don't know what's legit, what's not. We just kind of have to be here for the ride, right?
And that's what it seems like. One person's being pulled in. It's like, okay, do the work, now get out.
Yeah.
And then go. It's like, okay, like.
And it's funny because we saw that conversation with Dan and Santina in the bathroom. And Santina basically was like, he's going to run your HOH. He's going to tell you lies and he's going to just make you do whatever it is that like, which like, okay, I'm glad she woke up finally. But like, girl, come on.
And how long is she going to
what a mess.
Wait for? That's the real question.
Right. But he was just like,
you're
oh, okay. And he like, just he just did the dirty work anyway, didn't even ask any questions. It's just, and Josie, you're so right. Like the way he spoke to Renee, it's like now she's still in the house and you made a complete enemy out of her. Like you should at least be able to finesse the conversation of just like, well, this is why I did it, but I still want to work with you if you stay. Like you're not my target. Even if she was the target, it just didn't make any sense. The whole thing was a mess.
Yeah. And honestly, I really want to know if Big Brother is spraying some sort of like fumes in the HOH room, because like HOH-itis is real, and it just doesn't make any sense how like these regular humans can just like win a carnival game and then like they're able to be in this room and sleep on this bed that everybody's been slept on for all these years, and then feel like they could talk to you any which way. Like even for myself, like I'll say going back to like Jess's HOH, I'm like, where is all this big energy coming from? And you're telling people that you were telling me no, left, right, and center, and Wendy's like, baby, no, I wish you would. So I really want to know if there's something going on. I just don't know, like, is there something deeper, like when you mix just like a normal human and you add power to it? I mean, that's kind of like how it plays out with like governments and whatnot. But I just really want to know, like, what is the psychology behind, somebody being in a powerful position and then them just going off the rails.
We said that I think we said that every week, Summer, in your season, because it was Kyle, and then it was Jess, and it was Marty, and it was just like week after week after week. It was just like crazy decision that made no sense. So we were like, what's going on in that room?
Like, what's going on?
Right. Yeah. What are you putting in the food at Wendy's? We need to know.
I will say, what I realized so far this season, and again, honestly, the interview with Roberto really did a lot for me.
Yeah.
Because Roberto tells us that Dan made a deal with with Roberto saying, "You're safe. I'm giving you my word. You're safe. You're not going to walk. You should feel good. You feel should feel safe." Santina said the exact same thing to John Michael week one. So I'm like, every single time these people get HOH, I don't know. Maybe people don't like their word don't mean shit up in there, but they want to act like, oh my God, I'm loyal, I'm loyal, I'm loyal. But every single time someone has had HOH and has said, I'm gonna give you my, it's the Martin effect. I swear to God, kick your feet up. Kick your feet up. That's what it's giving. It's giving very much that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people just don't really like think things through. Like for myself, I always feel myself, if I'm HOH, I'm not gonna tell anybody shit. Like even if, say for example, like Betty's somebody who would never go up on the block if I was HOH. Never. Hands down, never touch her. But I wouldn't tell her. Like I would just be like, okay, tell me. Like I know she did feel a type of way when I asked her to campaign, but still in general, if I was in that position, I'd say like, okay, tell me, let's bounce some ideas off each other. But no one would know until like the day of, because again, you know me, when it comes to promises, I might have to fall back in them. So let's just not make any in general. And, you know, not really like say things out loud as well, because sometimes when you say ideas out loud, then you get called to the DR and then it's like, okay, what's going on here? So yeah, just don't even say anything. Sometimes people just need to
zip it.
I'll make my decision when it's time.
So I guess we can go from the HOH to the actual HOH, Zach, this week. So Zach, you know, messy
are we
week.
Technically on week 4?
Technically, yeah, like you know,
okay,
started.
I think so.
Earlier, but I was like, oh wait, no, they got the my bad. Correct me.
But no, it got really messy for this dude because you know, obviously he's coming in, the leader of the guys lines. He has Satino on the side. You know, things are looking pretty good. Obviously he's getting everyone in his dogs in line. He's controlling Dan's HOH. Great. Obviously we see the veto situation, and I don't think this was a good move for Zach. Obviously it's coming down to him and Hope. Obviously Hope needs to come off the block, and you could have just threw it to Hope, but Zach wins the veto for some reason and gets a lot of heat on his back. Obviously certain comments were made. You know, Vanessa felt some type of way to Hope and Zach, but specifically Zach. It's funny to see the changes of responses to the two of them, because Hope kind of gets like he's very apologetic, and Vanessa's more open to it, where Zach's like, why is she crying? And you know, a big mess express comes in. You know, a fight happens, Vanessa's calling him out, blowing up his game. What's going on here? Like what's going on here, Summer?
Bruh, that was a mess, but I was living for the fight. Let me just say that. One thing that I don't understand about that veto competition, first of all, Hope, you see that Zach is grabbing a shit ton of those floaties. Why are you sticking to grabbing 2 at a time? Like, you see this man is doing this, a method that's working and that's working far better than yours, and you're still out here grabbing 2 at a time. I don't know. Like, I loved Hope at a certain point. Like, he was representing Ghana. But like, I'm like, buddy, like, where's the spirit of Africa in you? Like, what? Like, where? I don't know. I'm getting so frustrated with this boy. I just want to get up in there and say, like, get it together. So yeah, I was really pissed off with that. Obviously, I feel like definitely like Ty and Zach should have had a conversation about that. I don't know why Zach chose to go all out, especially knowing that like Hope needs to take himself off. And you know that, you know, you're able to get deep within Dan's psyche. So, like, you can definitely figure out a way to get Rob on. So I don't know why you're doing this. And I don't know if, actually, he definitely did put a bigger target on his back by going all out on the veto ceremony. Not the veto ceremony, the veto competition. So, yeah, like, the whole thing's really a mess. When it comes to Zach kind of... you know, I guess being a little bit insensitive towards Vanessa's feelings. I did laugh. I won't lie. It was kind of funny to me. But keep in mind, like, I was very emotional towards the end. Y'all saw my exit. It was the best. So I, of course, like, thinking about it, I wouldn't appreciate somebody, you know, saying that I can't be emotional and whatnot. But, like, what are you going to expect? Like, I just feel like moms are just more empathetic, they're more empathic. So I also think, like, you know, you should be mindful that just, I don't want to say like language. I don't want to be like a police officer when it comes to language, but I just think that it's also important to like when you're in that environment to just reaffirm that like anybody can play Big Brother, and whether you're emotional, whether you're sensitive, you know, whether you're not even good at winning cons or whatever, like you are very much allowed to be in that house. And no one should ever make you feel like you're not allowed to take up space, because that was a big thing that I got, especially leaving the house. Like I shouldn't have been there. I took a spot away from a super fan. I'm like, that's the whole fucking point. Like I had some beef going on in the workplace. And I was like, you know what? If you guys are not going to do anything about this individual making racist comments, I might just have to go on their favorite TV show and take up space. I'm sorry. Hate me for it.
And you did.
And you did.
So, hey.
Yeah, I think Zach really lacks emotional intelligence. Like I think he has an ego problem, obviously. And like, I just think he got ahead of himself and just decided to win that comp regardless. Like he wasn't even thinking, he even said to Ty, like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Like that I should have thrown it. And I think he put himself in such a bad position because he got not only blown up on by Vanessa, but then he blew up on Jonathan, like in the middle of the house, which Jonathan just seems like this like gentle giant, like a nice guy.
Oh, the sweetest soul.
Yeah. And it's like, why are you screaming at this dude from the balcony? Like, it's just like, let's be not so dramatic.
And
it's
even that
ridiculous.
power structure too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know how like Anthony, he used to always say like he would like get very low. Same with Kevin,
down,
to show that like, you know, he's more so in a vulnerable position. But meanwhile, Zach is like, I'm the king of this castle.
Right.
I don't care.
Right. Even the way he spoke to Santina, when Santina's like, just say like you're playing what's good for your game, and we're not playing as a team, and he was just like, I'm not even having this conversation. It's just like he can't even bring himself off of like this hyped level that he's on to have like a normal conversation with people. So I really think Zach's flame is burning out really, really quickly, and I don't think he anticipated it happening so fast. But it's a mess for this guy right now.
Oh, yeah, and that's what happens when you come in when your ego is just like a little too big, because like Big Brother that game will humble you. I'm just praying like they're not bringing back a triple and he gets knocked out, because triples, man, it's the most abusive thing you will ever go through in your life. If y'all ever play Big Brother, like don't ever get evicted during a triple. It's horrible. Having to do your interviews with everyone. It's a mess. So I'm praying that there's no triples. I hope that shit is abolished. But I think if Zach keeps it up, there's going to be like something that's going to come up and just humble his ass. Like, I don't know if Canada, you know, maybe they're going to vote to put someone up. There might be something, but I just feel like something's going to really humble Zach. And I am worried for him. I still find him funny. He's a character, but like, I just like shit like that because like I like trashy TV and whatnot. But
we love a villain. We just don't want to root for them, but he's funny to watch.
You know, exactly.
Yeah.
I honestly, about Zach, I honestly feel like this season is a season of testosterone, okay? And it's about male approval, and it's a lot, like, there's a lot of levels here. Like, even Hope going, like, pitching himself, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, it feels like a lot of male approval. Like, I need to prove myself. I have to prove that I'm a man, blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of egos. It's a lot of puffed up chests going one against the other. I feel like Zach is the main guy doing all that. I think also maybe the atmosphere of work that he lives in, this is like the normal attitude to have, and people respect the whole alpha male thing. But like, be serious. We're in a house called Big Brother Canada. You're playing to win. You need to be humbled a little. Like, you're not trying to run the cash. People are gonna target you. Like, I just feel like Zach's whole attitude this week, like that whole comment about being emotional, it's okay to keep stuff to the diary room. That's the whole point of the diary room. If you feel like someone's attitude is weird, you go to the diary room, you say your piece, and you dip. Because look what happened. He said that, which I hope Koozie's not going to get in trouble, because from the editing, it just seemed like he spoke to Koozie, and Koozie went to Vanessa. Because when Vanessa came back, she was like, well, I heard you said this, and the next. But ultimately, I just feel as though, like, there's things that you don't have to say. You don't have to win every competition. You could have decided. He got mad at Ty for not telling him what to do. If Ty would have told him to throw the comp, do you think he would have done it? Let's be serious. No. This man's ego is huge. Like, in the diary room, he's talking about, oh yeah, I may be older than him, but you know, like, I'm gonna show him how the old dogs do it. Like, he's trying to, like, this ego stuff is too much. I'm like, get it off my screen immediately. Cut it out. Enough. And it's too much. The Jonathan dynamics too. It's like, this man has no self-awareness. I think that's the issue. Like, you can't charm your way out of being an asshole. Like if you're just being like rude to everyone, people are gonna catch on to it and they're not gonna take your shit lightly anymore. Like I don't know how people this season with the men, I don't know, the male approval of other males, the way these men talk to women. Sometimes I'm like, oh, like you better not think you can talk to me like that.
Oh, girl, don't get me started on something. Ooh, you just reminded me of something. Sorry. The Claudia situation with the sweater. Oh my goodness.
No, I hate the way the man speaks to her. I hate.
Did you see the clip of him talking to Vanessa today about who voted for Rob? Because he was talking down to her too, and I do not think this is going to work out for this man. He was really talking nasty to Vanessa.
I'm always a day behind. A day behind.
I saw a clip of it on Twitter somewhere. I can find it and share it with you guys, but it was not great.
Oh yeah, no, and that's my thing. Like I'm trying to keep it together on Twitter as well because like eventually I'm going to meet these people, so I don't want to like completely trash them and then be like, oh hi, because that's what happened to me. But yeah, there's some folks in there, some guys where I just literally want to be like, hey, if I was in there, this is what I would have said to you because I don't know. Like who raised you? Like I'm very confused, and a lot of the time, like even for Ty, it's like you're raised by a single mother. Like, please represent her well. Like make it look like you were brought up by somebody. She seemed like a lovely person from the video. It seemed like you were raised well from what you've disclosed to Canada. So why are you talking like this? I don't even know where he's from. Vaughan, Ontario. So like, Vaughan is
yeah. Exactly.
It's kind of expected from him a little bit, but at the same time, you know, Canada's watching. You look a little crazy. Like I sent the clip to my dad, and my dad was like, "The hell? Like, what is really going on? Why are you mad?" Like, yes, I guess Canada's very proud of you for how far you've come because he did mention that he was like, "Yeah, if this was it was back in the days or whatever, this wouldn't even be a conversation. So I'm proud of myself for how." It's like No, Miss Claudia, stand up and walk away, please, because he's a mess.
Like, there's no way he talks to Koozie like that. There's no
hell no,
way.
He knows.
No
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it's problematic because you're making things very obvious, and I'm praying that either Claudia or him like don't win HOH because I feel like if Ty has sex with Claudia, like it's really gonna fuck her up mentally.
Yeah.
Like, really and truly, and I feel like and not to say this because I don't know him, but I feel like he's a type of guy to like have sex with somebody in the game, just to have control because it's already starting. Like the manipulation is starting right now, and I'm not here for it at all.
I'm so glad you mentioned Vaughan. It feels good to have someone who can understand conversations.
A lot of the times, like, people will, like, misunderstand what people are saying because of, like, where they're from. So even, like, like, when I would talk to, like, Marty or Kyle, they'll say something that's, like, only said in New Brunswick. And I'm like, what the fuck did you just say? Like, or, like, say, for example, even going back to Marty, like, I've never heard him in Acadian before. He had his flag up in there with the 1 star. I'm like, big brother, what the hell is this? I was like, Acadian? What alt-right group is this? I don't want to be in this house. But it's like, no, like this is actually like a whole culture, and you know, there's a big Acadian culture in Canada and whatnot. But it's like, you know, if you don't know other people's cultural backgrounds and how they talk, like you could really misinterpret something. So like me knowing about Vaughan, I'm like, okay, he's moving like a Vaughan man, but like at the same time, like Canada doesn't know about all
but
who are not from Canada don't know how Vaughan is. So like you might want to be a little bit mindful because I'm sure there's people who are not going to read this as like, oh, this is just a Toronto man. It's going to be like, you're abusive, you're manipulative, like, you know? So hopefully he doesn't get ripped apart too much because people just don't understand the culture. If that is the culture, you know?
Well, I'm team toxicity, you know, and the reason why.
Yes, he is.
Because I feel like had it not been for some toxic behavior, right? Like we will not have this chaotic week. This is easily the best week this season And going into the toxicity, we got Vanessa, where I do want to bring her up a little bit.
Man.
You know, people don't like Zach, that's fine, but Zach, in his horrible behavior, caused a great TV moment. I love TV, and we finally got to see Vanessa screen time, which I have not seen her on dailies. I have not seen her on the show, but we finally get Vanessa here. Obviously, you know, she has her heart to heart with Hope, like I spoke, but it was really her conversation with Zach that, like, really, I was like, oh shit. Like, you know, she calls him out, saying that he's controlling everyone's HOHs, basically threw him under the bus about Rob. Like, Vanessa just did not care, and I loved every second of it because, you know, we saw last week where the vote for John Michael, multiple people are coming in this week saying, ugh, I didn't want to do that, but I just felt like I needed to vote with the group. There's 11 votes for John Michael, right? That means all of you don't want to do this, but no one has the gall to say anything. We finally got someone to actually say something, and that doesn't necessarily put Vanessa in a good spot. It doesn't necessarily put Zach in a bad spot, but what it does is it causes adversity. You know, I'm very afraid that we're going to have like a steamroll situation here, but at least even if let's say he ends up winning, I don't think it's going to happen, but let's say in some universe Zach ends up winning, I can at least say someone pushed back at him, and you know I do appreciate that. But how do you guys feel about the whole Vanessa situation?
Can I ask a question? Because I will admit to you, I watched this comp on 2x speed. What was she mad about? She was mad because they said that she would throw the comp to Hope, but there was money attached to the comp, so she said she would never do that because of her kids.
So
yeah,
is that it? Am I right?
So it was a knockout round, right? So Hope got last in the knockout round, so he had to fight his way up. So coming to Vanessa, Hope, and this, maybe I was paying attention to the numbers. So Hope was getting 25 both rounds prior to Vanessa. So it was like 25 blank, 25 whatever. So at this point, after their round, it's 28 to 26. So in my mind, I'm watching, I'm like, oh shit, Hope like just lost. But Vanessa had 26, Hope got 28. So he not only beat the standard he was already doing, which was 25, he went 3 in addition to that. But Vanessa also beat the score that he normally was exhibiting prior. So when that happened, she was fine. I think also part of it is also because, you know, $5,000 is a lot. So in your head, you're like, damn, I wish I would have had that money.
Yeah.
But then when she's hugging Hope, so Zach goes after her. When he's hugging her, he goes, oh, like you told Zach how to beat me. Like you told Zach how to beat me. You threw it.
Okay.
Like you told Zach how to beat me. And she was like, what? And I guess she was in shock the first time when she heard that. Like she was kind of like, what is he saying? So by the time she stepped away from that, I think she deeped what he was saying to her. And she was like, oh, like this is getting like too much. So she started to cry. But no one except for the 2 people she was talking to, which I believe was Shania and like someone who hadn't played the comp, were consoling her, and she was explaining to them like, oh, Hope just said that I did this, which isn't true. And I think Hope, what happened was, you know, his ego. He was feeling hurt at the fact that he lost. So I guess he was just trying to like drag whoever he could, and she was right there, so he said you. And so when she gets into the house, that's how she feels. So when they have the conversation, I guess Hope realized like he was just talking some nonsense, and he apologized, and that's when it escalated because Zach was like, why is she crying? And people were saying, oh, they think she's crying because she lost, which wasn't the truth. So there was no communication. People went off assumption, and here we are yelling at him in the kitchen.
Thank you, because I was like, wait, what happened? Do I have to go back and rewatch this again?
Yeah.
But,
Thank you for that, because I was confused myself. I'm like, I don't know why people are popping off, but I'm living for it. I was living for it. Like, you know, especially Vanessa, she's a fellow Caribbean girl. So I was like, you know.
I know that's right.
We got to cut a few people out from time to time. So I was waiting for it because I honestly, like, I love Vanessa, but there were times where, like, I actually forgot she was on the show. I was like, oh, who's this? Like, oh, Vanessa, my girl. Okay. So I'm glad that she was able to, like, step out. I just wish it wasn't in this way. Yeah. Because now you have the people who are perceived as the big threats are now all coming after you. I don't know if that was the case from the jump, but it definitely is now. And I don't know if Vanessa were to hit the block, if she would truly have the numbers to stay. Of course, it depends on like who she's beside, but I don't really know if there's anybody who's like really down for Vanessa except for Rob.
Well,
yeah.
Or no,
Yeah.
no, sorry, Dan. Was
Yeah.
it Daniel? S.
Daniel.
I mean,
Daniel. Sorry, I'm forgetting all these people's names. Oh Lord. And Rob was down for Vanessa, but I don't.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was Dan S. who like made it known that he's like the most down for Vanessa. Like she's not going out, she's not a replacement. Other than that, like I don't know if there's anybody really riding out for Vanessa. So it's like if you know that you don't have the numbers, you don't have people who you're locked in with, you might want to take it easy. Even if the cuss is there, like that's what that button is for. There's plenty of moments where I'm like, I want to cuss somebody out. I'm like, boop, take my ass to the DR and let it out. If it makes TV good, if not, then I was able to get it out, and then I'm just gonna move forward with my life. And
what I would love to see from Vanessa, or I really would have loved to have seen it from Rob, actually, while he was still in the house, is taking that and using it to build something counter to Zach and Ty. And that's kind of what I was alluding to in our exit interview with him today, of just like, why didn't we see you do something with this information? Like Santina said it before he went up. She said it. Like, it just feels like he could have had Jonathan. He could have had Vanessa. He could have had some other people. And that would have been a really formidable alliance against Zach and Ty and whoever they have. So I wish they did a little more. If Vanessa had the social capital to do that, I think she would have numbers if she's made it clear, like, Zach is my target. I'm going after Zach. He is my enemy. Like, I'm not coming after anyone else. I just don't know that people care that much about what Vanessa has to say, unfortunately. Like, if it was someone else that had a stronger social game than Vanessa, I think they could really do something with it. But I just think she's just not in the best spot at this point, unfortunately.
And I don't know if it's like age is playing a factor, her being a mom. Like, I mean, Tanisha did quite well integrating. I think Tara did quite well. I don't know all the other moms that have played. And I'm just trying to figure out what it is. Like, maybe her being bald, like that could also be a factor. Like, there's so many things that we as humans do that we don't even notice. And it's unfortunate. But that's what I was saying. Like, I wish more people recognize like where they stand in the house, how they're perceived. Like, take what you've learned from the outside world and like put it into Big Brother, because everyone says it's a microcosm of society in the whole world. So it's like, don't throw that information. That's something that I did myself. I'm like, oh yeah, I have these life experiences with certain people from certain provinces, but now's my time to be inclusive and whatnot. When sometimes like you need to be a little prejudiced, especially when certain things are coming through, or like sorry, hopefully that didn't sound bad me saying that. I had to stop myself for a moment. But yeah, on a side note, I'm kind of upset that there weren't any like more like groups formed. There were so many opportunities for people to say like, hey, we feel this way, like let's do something. So I'm just trying to figure out why. I mean, like my season, we were like Alliance Central every other week. There was a new alliance, and then these guys, maybe they're traumatized from my season. They're like, okay, we'll just have a few little things going on. Even if it shows that there's a collective, agreement with certain people. We'll just, keep it as like, okay, we've got this going on, but we don't want to add names to things. And that's a big thing. If you don't have a name to something, anything goes. Anything goes. I could be cool with you today. Tomorrow, you're out the door because we don't have a name on something.
Yeah.
I have to know names matter, literally.
Yeah. I mean, I would have loved. I said this earlier this week regarding something else, but for me, reality TV is mess. So I like it when reality TV goes back to its roots, which is its chaos. I like a good mess. I like a good fight. I enjoy it. Someone on Twitter said that Vanessa went to the school of Betty, which killed me. I was dying my head off. I was like, yeah, you're so right.
Miss Betty don't play, okay?
Betty don't play, okay? So I was like, this is so good. This is so fun for me. I'm enjoying this. Da, da, da. I wasn't thinking about her repercussions because she was airing Zach's out. Here, let's be real. Zach is up here. Vanessa's down here. So if Vanessa can bring you down to her level, she's actually making more of an impact on everyone else's game, not necessarily own. Like, obviously people might look at her a little bit differently, but ultimately, like, we needed to hear these things. She said, well, you were plotting on him last week. which he goes home this week. So everyone's like, damn, like Zach has power,
Yeah.
Zach has impact. Everyone was saying Zach's name. Like, and last week, Zach was like everyone's favorite. Everyone
Yeah.
felt good with it. Everyone felt like they had a special relationship with Zach, which was mind-boggling to me. Koozie felt that way. Daniel C felt that way. I'm like, damn, like, how is he talking to everyone every day, like every hour, every minute? Like, how do you feel special? But ultimately, like, I was very glad about that. When she said she changed the game, she damn sure did change the game, because it was time for people to wake up. I ultimately, like, whether or not Roberto staying was a good move, I feel like Roberto would have been a really hard person to get out later down in the line.
Yes.
So I see why you take the shot now, because I would have voted that way. Hell yeah, I would have. Yeah. But yeah, ultimately I enjoyed that fight, because I honestly, truthfully, do not enjoy watching the Zach show. If I wanted to watch that, I could just watch a fan cam on Twitter or a compilation on YouTube. Like, this is not what I watch Big Brother Canada for. Yes, it's for the strategy, but I don't like a steamroll. Like, it wasn't giving. And so I'm glad that happened, because it woke people up. Like, I'm so thankful that people are now awake to this. I'm hoping, I don't know how Koozie will navigate it, and it's so hard because we don't have feeds. But I'm so interested to see how, like, if she's going to take the approach of getting him out, because I know she kind of has a relationship with him as well. So to be continued, but I do fear for Vanessa. Roberto said that he thinks that she's the next one out, which is not a good sign.
I don't know if Koozie is going to, I don't think Koozie would put her up. I think she would be a number for Koozie down the line for sure. I mean, I hope so. I just can't imagine seeing a man that looks like Zach and being like, that's my guy, I can trust him. Like,
look,
like, what are we all thinking?
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not a bad move, in my opinion. Putting up
for
Zach,
Koozie,
for Koozie to not put up Zach is not a bad
I
move.
don't think she's gonna put up Zach. I don't think she's gonna put up Zach.
I say
he's
the
not
back
coming
door.
after her. Listen, he's not coming after her. That's a shield. Boom.
But
I don't think she's gonna.
No. You can't say Zach's not going after her. Zach will change his target every time the wind blows. Remember when Renee was the main target? Remember when she was?
Agreed.
All of a sudden he was telling
but right now,
Vanessa,
his focus
XYZ.
right now, as long as Satina's in the game, Vanessa's in the game, or
I think Jonathan.
Or Jonathan.
I think he takes out. I think he goes for Jonathan next.
Targeted before Koozie, in my opinion. So I don't think he's really looking at her. So.
I don't trust Zach enough. I feel like if you can't call Zach your ally, he's not your ally. And if he goes, he goes. Yes,
you don't gotta be your ally, but he can be your accomplice. You know what I'm saying? Acquaintance.
Like, well, do you guys think that she should have thrown this though?
You saw it?
No, I don't think she should have.
Okay, because that was something that was going on Twitter. Like, I guess that's the debate, is like, she should have thrown this. She was in such a good position. Although I feel like the house needs to be restored a little bit, needs that feminine energy.
Yeah.
I mean, after my experience with throwing stuff, I just don't agree. Like, don't do it. Just try your best at every single thing. So I'm proud of her for winning, but I'm just hoping, like, she does not put a target on her back. Like, I feel like somebody who's so well insulated, this is probably going to be, like, the hardest HOH. I mean, it's not going to be the hardest HOH, but I just think that the way that she's positioned right now, like, who knows? It can either go, like, safe, and you're safe for a few more weeks moving forward, or, like, you make this move, there's a target on your back the next week. So that's my fear, is that, like, Koozie will be targeted next. Like, all of a sudden, she'll just become this big target out of nowhere. So I just pray that her HOH or HOH-itis is, like, not a thing. Big Brother, please don't spray no fumes in her room. Like, please. I'm just hoping for a successful HOH from Koozie, and she just transitions out of that smoothly. Like, that's my feeling now.
It almost feels like she could be like Summer, like on your season after Kyle's completely wild HOH and then Gino. It feels like she could be the Gino and like normalize everything. And maybe she could even just put Dan up as the target, because he rubbed people the wrong way. He rubbed obviously Renee the wrong way. It seems like Ty already wants him out. Like, he would be an easy target, I think. And you could even paint him as a big threat and just like take him out right after his HOH, and then you'd probably have the votes to do it. So I think that would be probably the best move for her. But I don't think she should have thrown it. I think it keeps her and her allies safe. And you don't know if like Ty or Zach wins, like they're wild cards. You just don't know what they're going to do. So it's better for her and her people to have power.
I agree.
I will say, like, ultimately, so it's hard because, again, we don't have feeds. But going back to Roberto's interview, because that's the closest thing I had to feeds, okay? So I was really trying to milk his presence. But he said that, you know, Koozie had promised him to be the fifth vote. She had told him, like, I'm your fifth vote. Like, I know I'm your fifth vote. So if he went around and that was the commentary, oh, Koozie's the fifth vote, Koozie's the fifth vote, and she didn't do that, ultimately people might be looking at her sideways, which garners her protection. But I'm not entirely sure if that could be true or not, but I'm going off of the little information I know. So in that sense, if that were to be a thing, she's protected because she's HOH that week and she can repair those relationships. But also, we're kind of seeing in this house that there's dynamics being made, right? So we have these three girls who are very strong together. We have, you know, there's a little bit of tension amongst the boys, but like at least, you know, Ty, the boys have each other, / Santina, she's in the mix. You know, and then you have the rest of the house. You know, you're seeing Vanessa, you're seeing Daniel C, you're seeing Anika, you're seeing Koozie. And right now, yes, they're in the middle, but they don't have anybody writing for each other like the rest of these groups. I don't feel like those bonds are solidified. I think Daniel C really respects Koozie, and I don't know how she feels about him. It's really hard to tell with what we have, but ultimately, she could secure that strong vote to move forward with. And depending on, you know, if she targets people, one specific group of people, she should be fine. If she doesn't, if she goes and she takes two different people from two different sides and put them on the block, then it can be a little messy because, you know, some people might feel some type of way. But I think Koozie is really good socially that I don't think, you know, coming into this week, I called it the Gino weeks. The Gino weeks where you can just, like, people can relax. It's an easy HOH. People move on. I think she has the social capital enough to ask the really important questions to get the answers she needs and to navigate the game that way. So in Koozie, we trust personally. But, you know, Isaiah's looking a little shaky over here. I don't know.
Like, she has to have a Gino vibe. To her HOH, but don't be like Gino and like taking out like your shields and your numbers, because like Gino's decisions didn't make any sense.
They didn't make any sense.
Oh, here we go, me triggered again. But it's like, me, Herman, and Moose didn't even step foot in that Expedia room. We didn't even entertain any conversations, and you're gonna keep these people safe? Come on now. It doesn't make sense. So I just pray that she doesn't, like, you know, get rid of a shield for herself or get rid of a potential jury vote to appease other people. It's a hard position to be in.
It's tough because I think this is a really good week to have it because you can really set the foundation for future weeks. Obviously, she's really close with Daniel, and she's really close with Anika, who's also picking up the game at a very interesting rate. Like she's doing pretty well.
I'm impressed.
But
you're impressed by Anika?
I'm impressed by Anika, and I'm impressed by Renee, actually, but we could talk about that.
I don't know about
Anika. Anika's doing pretty good. I'm not gonna
Anika
lie.
Was like, I don't know what's going on, but how hard can it be? And now she's playing the game. Like, she's picking it up.
She's picking up pretty fast. But if like, I like the strategic talk she's having. But
me too.
With that being said, I feel like there's two. In my opinion, if I'm Koozie, there's two people who I would target. You either want to make the easy choice or you want to take a stand. If you're taking a stand, going based off what I saw on the dailies, Ty's already told you that he thinks you're a threat. He's told you that you're playing the best game, and he told you that
put him up.
You need to go.
He would be my target.
Putting Ty
if I'm Koozie, he would be my target.
If you want to draw a line in the sand, put Ty. The only risk doing that is obviously Claudia and her little gang going on, and then you got.
It'd be so
Zach
much better for
gang.
Claudia if he was gone, though. Really.
Yeah, but
seriously,
are there any names? Like,
there are showmans, I guess. Like, I don't know.
Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, where are the named groups?
Right.
Like, somebody
the girly pops or whatever. what did Renee call them? The girly pops has a name.
Renee was like, I like the girly pops, you know, and Dana was like, I do love a side alliance with a girl, but like the girls.
Yeah, like I want to. Yeah.
So if you do take a shot at Ty, you gotta make sure he goes. I feel like Claudia and her group can vote to keep him, and I do think Zach and his group can kind of vote to keep him. So maybe that's a dangerous move. So in my opinion, what I would do is take the easy route, because I feel like there's a lot of drama going on. People are fighting. You don't really need to draw a line and say let everyone else do that. You and Daniel and Anika are in a really prime middle position. I would, unfortunately, even though she does like her, take a shot at Satina. I feel like everyone would be down for it. All the girls and all the guys want her out.
Yeah, she'd be easy.
I don't think there's a single soul in the house looking out for Satina's goodwill. So it's like, put Satina up and let her go home, and then you just get to sit back and be like, hey, I didn't put any of you up.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna pay the favor back. So I do remember seeing something, I'm not sure if it's real, that she was thinking Satina Vanessa. I don't know how I feel about the Vanessa, but
I think that would be a bad
does
decision.
not go up.
yeah, but the Satina nom I do agree with. So
But who's gonna be saved? Like I heard
Well,
like a lot of people are saying Jonathan. I was voting for Vanessa. I hope it's Vanessa, just to like, you know, make sure she's 100% good. I have faith in Koozie that she won't put her up, but that's another thing that you have to keep in mind is like who is going to be saved. It could be Zach. You never know. It could be Ty. It could be something where it's like, whoa, we're not expecting this.
Now,
So
from what I saw,
I think
though,
Jonathan's going to be safe on that vote.
what I
the
did
New
see
Brunswick
though,
people, how they
Yeah,
So-
I think it's
Oh,
gonna be
yeah.
Jonathan.
it would be Satina as her main target. But if there is a backdoor, I think that she was considering Dan, but I'm not sure if she really wants that. Like that's if she needs to, but I think she does want Satina gone. Yeah, it's a lot of people trying to pull her in a lot of different directions right now.
I think Dan is an easy target because he's a comp threat. I think he's rubbed people the wrong way. I don't think the guys care about him one way or another. So he would be a good person to get out just because it weakens the guys a little bit. But I don't think they care. I think Zach probably wouldn't want him to go, but I don't think Ty really cares. It doesn't seem like Jonathan would care, especially because he backdoored his boy Roberto. So it feels like that would be the easy way to get a strong guy out. What I want in my soul is for her to put up Zach and Dan and backdoor Ty, but obviously that's not going to happen. But that's what I feel like is the best move for her long term, because get these guys out and then solidify something with Daniel C and Anika and the girls, some of the girls, maybe not all the girls, and like you're good for a while and no one would touch you. Insulate yourself and get rid of these strong men.
I'm interested. Okay, here's the thing. I don't know. If you're coming to my HOH room telling me you think I'm one of the best to be played, I'm a good thread, and you're coming to me and you're saying all these things, I'm putting your ass on the block. What the fuck
that's
you mean?
right.
You're going to come into
because if
my
you're saying it
room
to
and
me,
tell
who else are you
I'm
saying?
the target?
Exactly.
That's crazy. I hope she took that, I feel like me and Koozie kind of cut from the same cloth. We don't play, okay? We don't play. No one's going to come into my HOH room and tell me I'm a target. Who else are you saying this to?
Right.
For free? Unwarranted? No, that shit don't pass with me. I think that's crazy. If I don't get a DR from Koozie telling me something about how she thought about this, like, comment, even if it's nonchalant as a joke, like, jokes, the saying, some jokes have some truth to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So I just feel as though you're saying that. Who else are you saying that to? And she is really well placed. So if you notice that, I think it's time to take a shot. I don't really care what the relationship is. He needs to go. One of those men need to go, personally. Yeah. I'm okay with the Santina eviction because that was a messy week on her behalf. But ultimately, yeah, if a man can go, I'm there.
And they need to be up next to each other so they can't vote to save each other. Like there needs to be two men on the block. Like we can't have Ty against Santina or Ty against Vanessa. Like that's stupid. But put up two of them next to each other and then they only have one guy to vote to keep them. And the votes will go in the way that she wants them to
I
go.
really think Satina is the best movie. Like I don't think anyone's going to care. I don't think anyone.
I think it all depends on the game that Koozie wants to play. If she wants to make a big
for
move
1 week.
I think long term, one of the guys is the best route. I think Santina would be inconsequential for Koozie's game moving forward if she got her out. But I think you're right, Isaiah. I think she's probably going to play it safe. I do think she's going to play it safe.
I think Daniel in here is also going to be like, play it safe, bro. Like don't do that. But who knows? We'll see. But speaking of guys, I do want to bring up Hope. He's had an interesting little week. I don't really know what to think of him because what he says in the DR and what he says on the dailies and the show, everything he says contradicts each other.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
1 second, he's telling someone that he's really close with Ty and with Zach. But then the next second he's telling someone else that he's really aligning with Rob's thoughts, but Rob's thoughts is to get Zach and Ty out. I know that he seems really close with like
With
Renee and some of
Renee?
these girls. I
Yeah,
don't really
I
know
was
where that's
surprised
coming
about that.
from. I don't really. And then next second he's trying to quit and get nominated. Like I don't know. I don't know if this is a stretch. I said this yesterday, but he reminds me of David Alexander. And I don't know how I feel
LOL.
about that because it feels like everyone's trying to bring him into their folds and they're like, oh, yeah, come play with us. But this guy is such a wild card. Like, I don't know what his plan is.
Yeah.
How
And
do you
I
guys
don't know
feel?
if he's like doing all that because like obviously looking at him you're like this guy is a physical threat. So I'm like, is this your way of creating
No.
like the illusion maybe?
No, because he
has
questioned
moments where he's like,
Vanessa.
I gotta get in this and
Like-
and then he also has this very like soft moment. So I don't know if the boy's just going through it. It's not an easy transition in that house, but it's like get it together, sweetie. Like I don't know if there's method behind the madness. I don't know, but like I don't even say it's like a turn off, but I just know for myself if I saw this man in that house acting that way, like, oh, we would not be friends. Like, and I had high hopes for hope. Okay, I had high hopes, and it's just like you're disappointing me so much. And that's literally what I thought. I'm like, maybe he's just like, maybe it's the age. Maybe he's just trying to like, you know, not shine a light on you know his physical abilities and whatnot. Like I just don't know. And again, because we don't have live feeds, we're not hearing it. Maybe these explanations, because even for him, like saying that he doesn't feel like he fits in, like where is that coming from? Like are people making comments towards you? Like what's going on? And then so that's why I'm like, I just don't even know how I feel about any gameplay at this point, because like I really don't know. I'm generating an opinion with information that have holes in them, you know. So but I'm disappointed right now. That's all I can say. Based on what I've seen, I'm just disappointed, and I hope that there is some method behind the madness, but it just doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Summer, I'm curious from your perspective, since you've played the game, what's your general opinion on people in the house who want to quit? Because we also saw Jonathan saying like, use the veto on me and evict me. Not that it's the same, but like you've been through it. You know what the casting process is like. You know what the sequester process is like ahead of time.
Yes.
You know what it's like to be in the house. Like, what is your thought process about these people who are just offering themselves up on the block and then trying to quit?
So for me, like I always told myself that like self-evicting will never be an option for me, even if I'm dying, my spirit is drained. I'm, you know, like I'm constipated, and there was a point in time where I was shitting like stones. Okay, I know TMI, but you know,
it was that slop, right?
Your body will go through some things, but I'm like, you know what? I need to be a force that has to be taken out. I'm not gonna volunteer to go on the blog. I'm not gonna self-evict, none of that shit. So that's just my mindset. And I don't know if I'm a little bit insensitive, but it's just like you went through all of this. Like at least just go out in a way that you know you won't regret. So when it comes to people self-evicting or wanting to self-evict or wanting to quit, I never tell them no. Like even when Kevin was doing the whole prank, I was like in the back of thank you Jesus, like he's finally getting out this bitch. Like, woo! So all you're really doing, like when you quit, is like all you're really doing is just speeding up the process. Like it's not really doing anything. Like if you have a reason, like you know if a family member died or whatnot, absolutely get it out there because like that environment like really like triggered my grief and whatnot. So like if you need to leave, then leave. But if it's just like it's too cold in here, or I didn't expect to like, you know, be locked in the HOH for hours upon hours, or like I didn't expect to like be not be able to like nap and whatnot. Like no, duke it out. You signed up for this. Although there are some things that you're like, I didn't expect to be subjected to these things, but at the end of the day, you did the damn thing. You signed the paper. Do what you need to do. Okay, like even if you wanna like, you know, if there's a point in time where it's like you just stop talking game and whatever, and then eventually your game fizzles out and you get evicted, then sure. But like exit the way you're supposed to leave by getting evicted, by being either a threat or a threat to any capacity, social, physical, whatever. Like just let there be a reason beyond yourself, because you're gonna hate yourself in the end. Because like even for myself, I was evicted and I have so many regrets. But the one regret that I do not have is that I self-evicted.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's one thing that people like will they just can't move forward. Like I can move forward from all of my game regrets, but I think a lot of people who have quit, because I've talked to some people who have quit, and they're like, yeah, this still haunts me to this day. I regret it, and who knows if I'll ever get that experience. And you won't get that experience.
Yeah, you probably
will not
won't.
be invited back to All Stars.
Yeah.
You won't get a redemption season because they're like, sweetie, you wasted our money and you wasted
Yeah.
our time. We don't want you. So, yeah, I am insensitive to some degree, but at the same time, it's just like, you know, if I'm in there, if you hear, unless they're maybe your ally, but if you hear that someone wants to self-evict, go. I mean, like even Marty, like when we're in the jury house, he was saying that he wanted to like leave, he wanted to quit, and I'm like, lie. Like, meanwhile, Moose was like, no, please stay, we need you, Juana. And I'm like, he's not making my life here like good in this jury house.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're keeping him around. Yes, we do need the jury vote, but I'm sure Canada would love to cast 2 votes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna force you to be anywhere. So that's my stance on it. Like, don't force people to stay unless maybe they're an asset. But if people want to go, like, let's speed it up, baby. Like, let's go from like 70 days to like 65. Like, we're trying to get this shit rolling, you know?
Mhm.
So that's my stance on it. If you want to leave, leave. Is it bad?
No,
No,
I
it's
feel
not.
sorry.
Because I'm gonna.
I think
I'm
we
gonna
all
say something
agree.
and it's gonna make you
Yeah.
sound like an angel. So,
Okay.
yeah. Let me say this with my chest. You have the opportunity of a lifetime.
Yep.
Do you know how many people auditioned for this show? Do you know how many people would kill to be in this position? You are literally selfish unless it's like serious medical whatever issues. I'm not talking about the extreme points. I'm talking about I just want to quit to quit. If you do that, you're actually selfish. You're actually not taking into consideration your cast. You're not taking into consideration the production team. You're not putting into consideration the fans. Yeah, it's about yourself, blah, blah, blah. But you should have shown up. You signed up for this. You signed up. Sorry, not to sound like Spicy B. Damn. Sorry. But you signed up for this. Like, you signed up for 70 days. Be fucking for real. You're here to play the show. You're here to play the game. You knew what you signed up for. There's no way I'm sending my name to the contract without reading the contract. There's no way I'm not signing up for a show and not watching the show beforehand, looking at interviews. I just feel like it's basic common sense. You get offered this opportunity, you do the work. I just don't understand how you're going to sit here and say, I'm going to quit. Jonathan, I get it. He's emotional. You came here alone. It's an individual game. This whole team kumbaya nonsense is driving me insane. This is not the Lion King. This is not, a way to foster togetherness. It's Big Brother. Be fucking for real. It's ridiculous. I literally was so frustrated with Hope. Katie sent it in our group chat and I was like, goodbye. I was like, goodbye. You can leave. Because I don't want someone on the screen who doesn't want to be here. Bye. Like, I can't. It's so ridiculous. It's so frustrating. Like, I know so many people who audition and who want this so badly and who can't have this opportunity, which is, everything happens in the right time for sure. But it's frustrating to then watch, every season someone come on the cast, come on the show and say, I want to quit. I don't want to be here. Why are you here then? Why did you sign up for this experiment? Get the fuck out. I'm sorry. It's so annoying. It's so frustrating. Hope is so confusing this entire time. First of all, how are you going to vote to evict Renee? The vote is what, 7-4, I think, or whatever it was.
I think
there was 11 people voting, I think. So
I think it was 7-4.
You tell me you go and evict your bestie. They were wearing pink together during the veto ceremony. You mean to tell me you're like this and you vote to evict her? For what? For what?
It'd be your own people. It'd be your own
people. I would have actually lost my mind if I found out he voted to evict me. There's no way. Oh my God.
But that's one thing Big Brother will teach you is like it be your own people. Okay? It be your own people. So expect your closest allies to come for you, all right? Expect it. I guess the only thing back to the whole self-evicting thing or wanting to quit, I think the biggest thing that a lot of people don't realize is that like you are on a TV show. So people edit this shit. So of course our fucking evictions are gonna last like literally 2 hours long, and they gotta set up the cameras and move everything and whatnot. Like it was annoying for people, but it's like that's your time to take a nap. We are not allowed to nap in that bitch. So it's like while production is doing their thing behind the scenes, like take a quick nap, relax, have a conversation. This is your moment to like, you may even like have a quick vote flip. You know, you whisper to somebody, let's do this, bitch. You know, so like utilize those times that, you know, that the outside world doesn't get to see. Because that was the biggest complaint with most people. It's like, oh, I didn't expect to be locked in. And when I'm like, they told us this. They told us we're not locked in. We were told like there was nothing like I would say like the only thing that was like surprising to me is like, oh, I just didn't expect like, you know, people to use like my race and whatnot as a way to like you know, play game. Like that's one thing I didn't expect. I'm sure they didn't expect that as well. Like I didn't expect to be called a continent. I didn't expect to be called this strong Black woman. Yeah. I'm like, I'm breaking down. You see me crying in the shower. Like I didn't expect that. But everything else, I was like, oh yeah, me getting yelled at for like talking to people with a knife. Yeah, of course Big Brother's gonna cuss me out. Like, you know, but I was told that from the jump that I'm not allowed to do that, and I started to do that. Or like, you know, there's a lot of things. And for me, it was like a 5-month-long process. So and we had people in our cast who was like, no one said that to us. No one said that this is not fair. But it's like, yeah, no, like I read through everything top to bottom. We all spoke to the same people. They definitely did tell you that this would happen. So don't be surprised by this, and don't be surprised that you get to see all the uncut stuff that makes it a little bit more annoying and doesn't go as fast as you'd like it to go. But it's like, you're on a TV show. I'm sorry. Yeah. Like, it is what it is.
And I mean, you have nothing else to do in the house anyway. So I look forward to those. Like, what are you upset about? You're in there anyway.
Exactly. Those are sometimes. It's
what
like,
do you want to do instead?
Best moments. They're intense, but it's also like just nice to like me getting to go, like us being locked up in like the HOH rooms for hours, like getting to listen to music and not talking is nice.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
All right. So I guess the last topic we can talk about is the 3 Girls Alliance. It's I don't know their name or anything. I just know it's 3 of them.
Girly Pops.
Girly Pops. Thank you.
I think we're just gonna name them Girly Pops.
Well, I think Renee.
But it's Block Star Renee, Showmance member Boots Claudia, and ex-Showmance Seeker Shania. So we have these 3. But how do we feel about this 3-person alliance? This is one of many. Do they have a chance to do anything?
I'm not mad at them. I have to say, like, if they can pull it together, we always root for an all-girl alliance. If they can get some of the other girls involved and they can make a difference, like, I would be okay with it. I was surprised in a good way to see the way that Renee was playing the game in some of the episodes and see the game sense that she had. So I'm not mad at them. I think Claudia would be their downfall because I think she's going to leak too much information to Ty. So he's got to go.
Say that. Yeah. I was just about to say that. I like them. I'm feeling the vibe right now. I mean, like, you know, Miss Renee, you could ease up on saying bouteille. I'm getting tired of it.
Like, we don't need that.
Seriously,
we're good.
Seriously.
But, you know, I am feeling it. I'm, of course, all for an all-girls alliance. I really hope that they do bring on other people and really strengthen themselves and add a name to it. But, again, Miss Claudia, I feel like she's going to be, like, just the worst. And that's the thing. I really hope that Ty or Claudia don't have sex, because that I promise you, if they have sex, that will be the downfall of that trio. I promise you. Misogyny is real. Internalized misogyny is real. She's gonna feel like she's gonna need that man more than her girls. So I'm praying. I'm already seeing it. Some nonsense from her. Maybe that's just her, or maybe that's her playing the game. You know, just keeping her man, you know, at bay. But I just feel like there's just something that's gonna happen. And that's always the case. Like, whenever there's that one girl who is aligned with the guy in any way, they leave the females. It was same thing with Helena, same thing with JC Lynn. Didn't ride out for none of the females, even though I was getting called out for that. Even me, I'm like, I have my little flirt match with Hermsy. I almost left my sister Betty. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, straight women are useless sometimes in this game when there's a man involved. It just happens. So I'm feeling them, but I'm just praying that Claudia just focuses on the game, reminds herself she's not on a love show. And, you know, if you want to see a woman win, you need to ride out for people who are like you. Like, how could you want a female winner, but you're dragging a man to an end? For the end, it doesn't make sense.
Come on now.
It's the same for, like, on my season where people are like, oh, I want a POC to win. But, like, you're just putting me up just to put me up, and you're just calling me the continent and all this stuff. Like, you don't have to say all these things. You really don't.
Yeah.
Come on,
You really
wake it
don't.
up.
Like, if you truly want this, then
crazy.
you will allow these people to like form together, and we go far together. But yeah, sometimes it's like internalized misogyny is just always a downfall. That's what I was saying. I'm like, we need more lesbians up in the BB Can house, because I'm sure maybe 3 lesbians will get the job done.
I think they would, honestly.
Yeah, they'll get the job done. They won't be distracted by, all this manliness. They'll be like, man, move. Like, so I'm rooting for them, but I'm already ready. We might have to come back in a few weeks and be like, we were just talking about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's happening.
Also, this man could not make it any more obvious that he does not like her.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even to her face, it doesn't even seem like he likes her a little bit. Like, they have no chemistry. He could not be bothered with her. He doesn't tell her anything. Like, wake up, Claudia, wake up.
And that's what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking that he doesn't take the gameplay to the bedroom and just really use sex as a form of manipulation. I see it happening.
I can totally see it. I can totally see it.
I'm saying this in general, but especially in the game of Big Brother. When men show you who they are, believe them.
Believe it.
It's ridiculous. The way Ty talks to Claudia is insane. Insane. But I honestly, about the girly pops. Okay, so we talked about this a little bit in the draft, but I said if there's one player that could surprise us, it's Renee. And we have had 2 times now. We've seen Renee speak so eloquently during these evictions. I'm sorry. In my mind, I'm like, when we get to final 2, baby girl, you ain't going to get the chance because she speaks too well. It's a little concerning. But ultimately, she's not doing well in the competitions. She's self-aware. No. She knows that she's been deadliced twice. And honestly, I can't judge her because I also think that I would be deadliced twice. But I think she has a good head on her shoulders. I think, her being the Pawn Star of the season, it's looking very much like that, which is not a good place to be in the Big Brother house, which sucks. But like, hopefully, if she can go 2 weeks without going on the block, I think she'll be okay. But
look how good Betty did. How many times did Betty go on the block? She could have won if she was up against Josh.
6 times on the block. Betty was on that block.
Yeah.
But like, same thing with Brittany from. Yeah, same thing for Brittany on season 3. Like I think she was final 4, final 3, and she was the block star of the season. But like, it's not a good place because if someone flips, it ends up on you, and it's not a fun place to be in. Yeah. So that's a little nerve-wracking. I think you would rather just not be on the block. Period. Shania, I don't know. We don't see her. Like, I feel like she's low-key there.
I don't really know much about her.
She's getting the Vanessa edit. So maybe she needs to pop up or something to get that thing. But ultimately, like, she's not there, so I don't really know what's going on with her game. I thought maybe she had a thing with Roberto, but Roberto shut that down real quickly in our interview. So I was like, damn, she don't even got that.
I wanted to ask her about Santina.
Oh yes,
because that was yeah, she was there anyways. She was there in the dress waiting for him. I was like, oh, okay.
Sending her man off to war.
she was giving her last remarks. So I said, okay, I see you, Santina.
She did that on purpose, though, right? I thought Santina did that on purpose to be like, this is my man's.
Yeah, I think so.
Miss Nene. Like, I thought, I don't know. I was like, why are you doing this?
I think so too.
Yeah, Shania is not there, so it's like I don't know what's going on with her game. We don't have feeds, so I can't even try to check on that. But ultimately, Claudia, who I thought was the head of the alliance, she started calling up the men's alliance really quickly, which is why I was starting to, she was starting to get my stand card just a little. But now I will officially confirm that I will not be giving her stand card because wait, not that I told you, because I said she's getting there. I didn't say she will. First of all, if you're a Black woman, automatically stamped. But you need to work for it. And Claudia was starting to, work for it. And then I fear from what I've seen, it's giving flop because she just lets this man talk to her crazy. What do you mean? How are you gonna so there's a woman's alliance, right? When this man full-heartedly knows in his spirit he has a man's alliance.
I can't.
Crazy. You can't, I just don't know. Like, when I watch their scenes together, I'm like,
cringe.
I'm
cringe.
I'm
uncomfortable.
How are you gonna let him that way? How are you gonna let him maybe, and the thing is, it's so hard because we don't have feeds. Because maybe she's, talking to the camera, talking about, he ain't gonna talk to me that way. But then again, I don't
I feel
know.
like they would show us. I mean, I hope they would show us that if she was saying that.
I don't know. That's the thing. We don't know what's actually being seen. So from what I'm seeing,
you would think they would show, but they might not.
They
Maybe
might
they
not.
want the
There's a lot
showmance.
of things that did not.
They want the
Yeah.
showmance.
TV, and it was like, ooh, like, even me and JC Lynn, she was my first girl kiss. Y'all never saw that. They were just running.
Ooh.
They were just running with the us hating each other.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like Miss Thing actually has a low key crush on me, but Canada will never know.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know. It's really hard with the information we were receiving, how to really judge this alliance. But ultimately, I'm very fearful because I feel like 2 out of the 3 of them are in like some weird positions. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. And Shania, I don't know what's going on with her. So ultimately, I'm all for the Women's Alliance, especially during this Women's History Month. However, I need, I need to see some actioning.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I need to see.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a bad thing to say, but I don't think I've ever seen a girls' alliance work in modern day Big Brother. So I would be
It's not a
shocked.
bad thing to say. It's the truth.
I would be shocked if it works. If it works, I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm not saying it hasn't been attempted. I'm just saying one of those 2 win, one of those 3 win.
There needs to be variables in place for it to happen.
Thank you. So.
What do you mean by
the showmance is a hell of a no?
Hell no, man.
Any like
okay,
like,
I'll give you. I'll bring you one. I'll bring you one right now.
Modern day.
I'll bring you 2. I'll bring you 2. I'll bring you 2.
We're
playing Big Brother Canada. Okay, first one I can name Sarah and Brittany. They rode for each other. Season 3 and Sarah won.
What year was season 3?
Correct. Then
what year was this? What year was this?
You want me to start pulling dates? I'll pull up the page.
Go ahead. I'll pull it up. Go ahead.
All right.
Keep going.
Technical. I got the iPad right here. I always say strap. Don't play. Now, second one I'll name is Maddie in Paris, season 6. Don't act like that was too far ago. Let's be serious. But
didn't you throw Maddie under the bus?
I mean, to be fair, Maddie got what? 3rd. Paris got 1st. I mean, you can't really complain. It doesn't get better than that. I don't know.
Gotta say nothing, man. I don't gotta say nothing.
Every alliance throws each other under the bus a little. Let's be serious.
Not all of them.
Not all of them. I feel like the only real example is Brittany and Sarah. Like, really and truly.
The closest, yeah.
Okay, but it's an example nonetheless. Isaiah said none.
What about like a 3 or 4?
Yeah, what about it? That's like it's an alliance, but it's a duo. Final 2 situation. But that's why I said when
what about a full alliance?
We can pull out the technicalities. It's okay. Look.
But I asked Isaiah, can I say 2 people? He said sure. And I made the grab.
Go ahead. You can pull out the technicalities.
We're
good.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Ultimately, here's the thing. The issue is that we get actually, now I think about it, there's more women I can name, but it doesn't matter. Ultimately, my point is that a lot of these alliances sometimes they just like go based off gender, and that's not enough. Yeah, exactly. You know what's up. Yeah, I just feel like a lot of the time people kind of make alliances based off nothing. So a big one I can think of is the first 5 alliance in like season 2. Season 2. They just made an alliance because they were the first 5, and then that ended up flopping majorly. We saw that the same thing with the guys season 1. Well, if the shoe fits, if the shoe fits. So ultimately, I just feel like some people make alliances without looking at who they're trying to work with. Like you need to,
because you might end up hating those people.
You have to have the same mindset.
Like that's at Zach's alliance, yeah.
right.
You can't just go off of one factor. Oh, you're bros, okay, and look at where you are now. One of you is evicted.
I have a question for you because I was talking about this with my coworkers.
Okay,
what do you think about like say for example, me, Betty, Tanisha, we saw each other from the jump. We're like, we got one visible thing going on that we can all relate to. Like, let's do something. Do you think that even just that? And I know, like, when it comes to like say for example, just blackness, it's like,
I feel like that's
can be kind of sensitive, but I'm like, that's what I'm saying.
That seems different.
Some of my coworkers were like, no, like that shouldn't be like enough reason to just join an alliance with someone. And even for me, like on my season, I was like, I do want to play as much of a pro-Black game as possible, but like, you know, should I feel forced to like set that foundation? Because I'm like, I don't even know any of these people. I don't know if there's gonna be.
We saw that on Survivor a little bit, right?
Pardon? Sorry.
We saw that a little bit on Survivor 41, the season with Shan, and like they tried to form that and then they kind of broke up because they weren't really getting along. But I mean, I'm not really the right person to speak on it, but to me it feels different and like deeper. Like you're sharing an experience that's much deeper than just like a bunch of bros.
Other examples, like if you're both females, like, you know, you're both females, should we stick together? Or it's like, we're both from St. Catherine, should we stick together? Like that's like the first thing that connects us. So should we not at least like have something where like we can keep each other safe? Or it's like, should we have an alliance? Like, you know, that's my thing where like, cause I know a few fans are coming up to me and just like, messaging me, saying like, Santina, she is like, she's a devil. She got another Asian person evicted. And it's like, well, we don't even know how Santina was raised. Like she's Métis and Thai, like, who knows which side that she actually connects with. And yes, she is representing that community, but what is her actual relationship to that community? And it's like, just because she is of that community, should she keep that person safe?
So real quick sidebar, this is incorrect. Allison June, Big Brother 4. But anyway, no, I feel like here's the thing with any alliances based off of what gender, race, any kind of likenesses, right? There's a reason why the cookout worked out, right? You have to be, and this isn't even just with this, alliances in general. Alliances really work. The best alliances work when both or however many people in the party are willing to lay down on the line and put their game in jeopardy to keep you protected. Everybody needs to be on the same accord. The cookout worked because they were all understanding that, look, I may not win, but as long as a Black person wins, boom, we get that. If an all-female alliance want to be like, if that was the goal, if it's not about the game, it's like we just need a female winner. Cool. All the girls in the alliance need to be willing to possibly lose to get this goal to work. Now, if you're just trying to have a regular alliance, looking at, for example, the Hitmen, Derek and Cody, those two, they worked together. They weren't really aligned for any kind of likeness, but they really vibe with each other. They wanted to play with each other. So no matter what, Derek was going to make sure Cody was safe. Cody was going to make sure Derek was safe. So
Cody made sure Derek won.
Yeah. But the best alliances are when everyone in the party are willing to lay down and it's like, look, I may not win this shit, but I'm going to damn well try to make this shit work. And 9 times out of 10, it works when no one is on some BS. If you're solid with your squad and you don't do no BS, it's going to work. Even with my experiences, like I played like an LRG, it works. Like you just have to be solid with your foundation. You know what I'm saying? But if you have that one person looking at this week perfectly, all the guys in the Zach Alliance were willing to lay down for Zach and do what they want. It takes that one person, Ty, to like be like, hey, I don't like that Rob guy. Let's mess that up. Everything explodes. So it's like you need to be willing to hold it down and stick with your people, even if that means you possibly lose. And that's not a common thing in modern day Big Brother nowadays, you know? So
I was gonna add to the initial conversation. It's just also and I was gonna reference the Cookout Alliance, but ultimately, you know, we had so much context from outside of the game prior to the game with the Black Lives Matter movement, where these were things that we as Black people wanted to prioritize. And I think when you have the platform, and we kind of saw a little bit with Davon as an individual, but we also saw her working with Bailey and coming to that conclusion together, that this was something that they needed to fight for. And looking at the statistics and whatnot, you know, that's what grounded them. It's the want for change and maneuvering together for that change. But ultimately also, when I'm looking at people I'm going to work with, you have to have the same mindset as me, and we have to see things similarly, right? So for me, automatically, if I'm in the house and there's another Black woman, odds are we're probably going to see the same, like the things similarly. Or if I'm looking at someone who's first generation Canadian, like my parents immigrated here. So the way I view life compared to some of the people I go to university with, for example, they don't view it the same way. They don't see the same opportunities, what it means, you know, to be first generation Canadian, the work ethic that comes behind that. There's things that you just happen to see and connect with automatically. Now that's where the alliance thing goes in. Do you necessarily, you can be friends with everyone in the house. That doesn't mean you're going to be in an alliance with them entirely. You have to think who's going to work with you and have that same mindset game wise and follow along with you and navigate and think similarly to you. Some of my favorite alliances, like, let me name like Alec and Peter, whether you like those individuals, whatever. When they got into the house, they vibed together. But then they also saw the game similarly. So that's why it was like, oh, we can be an alliance. And they rocked with each other. And that's why, you know, that connection that they built, the Shield. I love that alliance. Say whatever you want. But I love that alliance. But they were able to stick together because they viewed the game the same way. They didn't care about lying, backstabbing, whatever. That's why also romances are so powerful, because they have a connection above the game that they just want to do whatever they can to connect and stay with each other. So how that connection is with the individual that you're playing alongside with, you can either mold to have the same mindset, or you come in with the same mindset and you propel each other in those similar mindset. So I
wish I had you before I went on the show.
No, because we would have had a good time. Let me tell you that right now. Oh my god! But I feel like I would look at anytime I'm playing whatever game, like when I used to play games or whatever, I would look at who was another Black woman, because they know exactly what the vibes is. They know exactly what we need to do. They know how you're going to be perceived. You know, you have to kind of also be self-aware. There's no one who's going to understand the things you go through like someone who's like you. So it's like, you know, the whole like, oh, being a strong Black woman, that's always pushed upon us. And it's good to have another Black woman, which is why we push diversity, because you can have someone outside of the game for a minute and just talk about how that's like, that's a lot like of an emotional burden or expectations and whatnot. So there's so many levels to it. But if you know someone's down for the cause, you know, like you'll see someone, you can tell, okay, you're down for the cause, we can write it out.
Some people,
but not everyone is down.
Girl, some people will have you.
Some people will. Some people will act like they're down for the cause, but at one point or another, you can. I feel like you kind of suss it out. You know, that's a little weird for someone who just said that they're down for this cause. Why are you moving like that? Right? So
you have the right conversations. It's all about having the right conversations in that house, and then things will be revealed to you.
Yeah. All right, look, I think that's a great way to start getting to the last question. This will be the last one. So, do you guys have any context on this? Because I am a little confused still. What's up with this whole Wendy's points twist system? What's going on with that?
I don't think we know.
Okay. You know what I think? Oh, wait, I cut you off. Sorry, my dear, go.
No, I was going to say, so what was revealed is that whoever has the most amount of points will win a power. What that power is, I don't know, child.
When did we learn that?
I hope I don't see a coup d'etat, bro. That's all.
Oh, I thought they just said, like, you know, you want to get the most points or whatever. We don't know what it is.
Okay.
No. They said it was for power.
Oh,
I won't lie, I spaced out.
Listen, I was watching on 2x speed.
So it's definitely for a power, which is why also the way, when I tell you, everyone wants to talk about dream management starts now, because you can get some points. Be fucking real. Like this, I'm so interested to see who Roberto gave his points to, because I want to see how that.
Jonathan. He gave it to Jonathan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he did? Confirm?
Yeah. I think he said it. There were like TikTok exit interviews or something like that. He said it.
But yeah, they didn't specify what the power was. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of powers in play right now. They insinuated, and here's what I thought. They kind of insinuated that the power that Brittany got in season 3 will be applied this season. Like they found the power of veto in like this in the half knot room, and they found it and it popped up, and she was able to remove 2 nominees.
Oh, the 2 safety medallions. Yeah,
so she was able to do that. I think that's what they implied, because they said that there will be things from previous seasons that come up, and the way in the premiere, the way they showed that power of veto just reminded me of that season. I could be wrong, but that's my hypothesis. So we'll see. I think there's like at least 3 powers at play this season.
Okay, my stance with the Wendy's points, I don't know what, obviously we know it's going to be a secret power, but just know that this is going to be a segue of some sort to what Wendy's got going on. There's probably going to be like a Wendy's loyalty program of some sort.
Yeah, free Frosties.
Have to do what Wendy's, what they have coming through soon, their business venture, just know that there's going to be some product placement of some sort and an announcement of some sort. That's all I gotta tell you. There will be a secret power of some sort, but it's gonna be like, oh, Wendy's now has a loyalty program. So expect that. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I think you're right. Speaking of Wendy's,
even for that red door, I'm like, watch it be something foolish. Like, I was even talking to Kev. I'm like, Wendy's doesn't serve breakfast. Like, when is Wendy's gonna serve breakfast? I get evicted. Like, Wendy's now serving breakfast. Like,
Summer, I want to ask you: do you think Santina knew who her mom was?
I feel like she probably did.
Okay. I didn't feel like she was like, "Oh, it's you." Like, it didn't feel like she knew who he was.
Honestly, she might have just not have been a Herman fan. She might have like not actually cared. Like, that's my biggest fear is like I come up there and then like, oh, but really like, who is this bitch?
I literally don't know how you could possibly not be a Herman fan, but we stand him last season.
What I will say is, I don't even know if this is tea that I'm allowed to spill.
Oh,
is it too young?
But just know that sometimes you have to react to things more than once. So one reaction might have been more woo, but the second reaction might have been what was used.
I got you.
Please don't come me my contract, please.
Let me.
That's what I'll say. That like
allegedly,
you don't know which reaction was the first.
Allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly.
That's
it.
Allegedly.
But I don't know anything. Okay, I never played the game. So
You're just one of us. I mean, honestly, here's the thing. If I would have gotten Chris this week, I'm gonna be real honest with you. I would have been disappointed. I'm sorry.
Who is that?
I literally forgot about him. I'm sorry. BB-8 is the forgotten season. I love you, Angie specifically. Love you, girl. You always have a place in my heart. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think.
Well, he's the one that didn't even know it was his mom, right? Giving him the Wendy's.
Right. The only reason I knew him, so I was like, damn, okay, brother, I guess. But I think one interesting power is a Wendy's meal with a jury member. We saw this one jury member have who was it? I think it was Dan met with Michelle season 6.
Yeah,
Big
Brother 10.
Season 10, yeah.
Yeah, Big Brother season 10.
Like, after that conversation, he ended up getting her vote, I believe.
It's like, hey, I'll give you a McChicken if you give me your jury vote.
That's what I'm saying. So they're like, hey, let me get you that Frosty, all right? And we can talk about potentially you giving me that vote. I think that would be a very interesting power. It can plug in some Wendy's some more. They're already doing it. So you might as well just give it some like.
That would be interesting.
I think it would be fun because then you have to think about which jury member you're picking.
Yeah,
how
there's a lot of strategy.
What you're trying to convince. Like, are you going to be self-aware enough to have these conversations? Like, I think that would be a cool way of like plugging Wendy's or even Circle K if they want to get interesting. I don't know who else is the sponsors. I think Ninja's one of them. There'll be an appliance competition.
There's like 7 and 5.
Fresh.
Hello
Fresh.
Pandora's box to the Hello Fresh box.
Cook dinner with the jury.
Could you imagine it's just a free like a Wendy's for a year or something like that?
Crazy.
It probably will be something like that.
Listen, they used to have the grill.
Like, what?
Wasn't the grill part of the
oh yeah, last year they were the grill, or 2 years ago that was the grill.
You got a grill if you win.
Yeah. Grilling accessories.
I'm good, thanks.
All right, but that's our podcast for the night. So if you haven't already and you enjoy what you listen to, please shout out to the Sound Podcast. Please subscribe, like, comment. It helps us with our algorithm. And if you are listening on our audio platforms, please rank it 5 stars and 5 stars only. If it is not 5, you think it's 4, just don't rank it at all. Wait until you hear something that is 5 that you like. It helps us out. And if you haven't already, it was uploaded earlier today, but please check out our exit interview with Rob from the season. It's a pretty good talk, just like 12, 13 minutes. It was pretty fun, very insightful. So real quick, Summer, once again, thank you so much for coming. It's been a very fun podcast. What are you doing and where can people find you?
At the moment, we ain't doing anything. We're just working on the branding. But feel free to subscribe and follow on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. I am the Summer Sayles. And then on YouTube, the Say SAYSUM show. And I I want to thank y'all. This was actually a therapeutic session for me. It felt nice to talk to people who care about the game because, trust me, my family members were like, we have no reason to watch this shit. Well, we do not care. Don't talk to me about no HOH, none of that. So it feels nice that I got to spend time with, you know, fellow BB Can folks. It feels nice. Now I could like go to bed with like, you know, with my mind at ease. And I got all this out because I'll be to myself like, God damn, Claudia! So it feels nice. So thank
well,
you.
You are
It was fun.
more than welcome to come whenever you
come
want.
back and join us again. This was so fun.
I am down. And you're giving me reasons to follow. Because some days, you know, I get in my feelings. I'm like, I'm not watching this. I need to put it down for a year. But like moments like this make me just want to keep in the loop and whatnot.
Good. All right. How about you, Josie?
Yes, you guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JosianeXNM, JosianeXNM. You know, I'm always here podcasting with our crew. I'm also live tweeting shows. So I just finished Are You the One? I'm begging for a reunion. I need the reunion. I need the tea. I need to revel in it a little. But I've been watching the challenge World Invasions. And I want to kiki with the girls on the timeline to see what's going on, what people think, especially with Kellyanne as the star of the show. But yeah, I'm tweeting, so follow me there. And I love talking to you guys. So yeah, just give me a quick little a tag.
All right. How about you, Katie?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at RealSlimKatie. You could follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RealSlimKatie with an underscore. You can check me out here every week with the Bounce Checks crew. I love being here with you guys. This was super fun this week. Summer, thank you again for being here. You can find Isaiah and I and Naomi talking on the high ground about The Mandalorian Season 3. We'll be doing one episode every 2 weeks, so we'll cover 2 episodes at once because they're kind of short, so it's easy to cover them both in one. And I think, crossing our fingers, Carrie and I will be back talking Bravo this weekend. And we're just going to like keep it simple and easy and just catch up because we haven't spoken in a long time. So we're going to be back. Cool Water Show. Check us out. I think we'll be back on Sunday. So we're really excited about that.
All right. And finally, me, you can follow me at 8Ball Bangers on all social media platforms. I'm booked and busy like usual, but we're always here every Friday talking about Big Brother Canada, doing our extra interviews, so make sure you tune in for those. Next Tuesday, I will be with Sasha and Julia talking about Big Brother 4 for the review podcast. We locked it in. It's going to be a fun one. We're getting to the finish line. It's going to be fun. I heard Josie talk about Are You the One? I literally 30 minutes ago before we did this, we did our exit interview with Julia Ruth from that season.
Icon.
So make sure you check that out. She dropped some tea and she was a delight and she helped us out with that. And unfortunately, I thought I was going to have some free time, but I found out today Love is Blind started. So make sure you're also here.
I know what I'm doing after this.
The Love is Blurry podcast. I have Javier co-hosting with me this season. So
love that.
Make sure you check that out. But until next week, have a good one. Bye.